Thank you, thank you. Hi, everyone. Let me just see how this works. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. And we're super excited to be building this community together. And tonight, I will tell you the story of the fundraising. Everybody is asking me about this. So this will be the first time I tell the story to, I don't know, to a live audience. I hope it's interesting. I'll get into a lot of details, but maybe later I'll send you materials and it will make a lot more sense. I'm super excited that in the audience we have at least 10 people who have helped me a great deal during this fundraising, so thank you so much for doing it. Who am I? I need to start with this, guys, so that you listen later on. So my name is Iliya. I was a math competitor for many years. In the past, I was an AI, data science and AI instructor with more than 1 million students. And I have been in startups for the last 10 years, most notably with 365 Data Science, Triveta, and Team-GPT. Currently, I'm co-founder and CEO of Team-GPT. We just raised this round from Silicon Valley. And the round is 4.5 million, led by True Ventures. This is a very big milestone for many reasons. First of all, this is the biggest seed round for a Bulgarian company, according to the information from Launch Hub. And who are our investors? Our investors are True Ventures, a legendary Silicon Valley fund founded in 2005. They have about 4 billion assets under management. They've supported more than 350 companies, more than 1,000 founders, and these companies have created more than 85,000 jobs worldwide. Their team is about 50 people, and I've just handpicked a couple of them, which are in no way the main people there. They're just some of the people there. Mike Montano, he was head of engineering at Twitter for 10 years. Helen was head of marketing at Quora, Dropbox, AngelList, and Played. Jeff Veen invented digital fonts. This guy, basically, there was only one font in the past before this guy said there should be fonts on the internet as well. So he invented them, and later Adobe bought him, and he became head of Adobe Cloud. And Kevin Rose is also one of the people at the company, top 25 most influential people on the web, top 25 angel investors of all time, and bunch of other stuff. Founder of Dig, if you remember this. So why did we raise these funds? We are building Team-GPT. Team-GPT is an enterprise software for working with AI. In the simplest terms possible, we are a toolbox with AI stuff inside of it. We work with multiple models, we do collaboration, and we are adding more and more functionalities, eventually building towards the inevitable future of agents, AI agents. This is how our product looks like. I hope you check it out later. Now, in this presentation, largest seed round in Bulgarian history, how did we do it? What's the secret? I'm getting asked many times. The reality of this is that I spent about 9 months of my life on this, which is about 10% of my work life, and it was a very interesting journey, but also very demanding in many ways, and I'll try to explain the reasoning behind this. Now, whatever you hear tonight worked for us with traction X under limitations Y during time period Z. This is what Zvezdin Besarabov told me when I asked him about how to fundraise. And this is true. Every company is different. Every founder is different. So it is extremely important to take the stuff which could be useful to you, to your companies, if you're deciding to create those or fundraise for them. The lessons should be universal for not only for fundraising, but take everything with a grain of salt and make it yours. So it kind of all started when we started building Team-GPT in April 2023, and then Ilko just said, we should totally build it in public. And this was one of the first build in public posts that we posted. It was, our revenue back then was $37,000. We were making about $2,400 per month. And we had about 7,000 users. I think many of you have seen some of these posts online. We kept them going as a way of an accountability for ourselves. It was really pushing us harder to be to deliver more, to try to make something better. So we continued doing it, and I think a lot of what we achieved was due to this public way of building that we decided to pursue, which was really holding us accountable, right? There I have a number of graphs, but I'll quickly go through it. We kicked off on the 7th of April 2023. In May, we hit 1,000 users. In June, we hit 2,000 users. In July, we hit 3,000 users. On the 3rd of July, we created Team-GPT Ltd. And we had made $23,000 by this point, and we had $760 MRR. So I think the lesson here is don't create a firm, don't create a legal entity before you know what you're doing, whether you want to do it, who do you want to do it with. And we took 3 months to validate this idea somewhat before we actually jumped into it. We were hoping that by the 1st of September we would have a top-notch product with no bugs. But yeah, yeah, we're still working on this. But yeah, and then we had some other goals. In terms of the marketing strategy, we were, this is, I will not go through it in detail, but it's very indicative of how many different things we were trying at the same time. We were doing LinkedIn posts, lifetime deals, email funnels, social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We were doing SEO. We were doing networking. We created an online course. We were really trying every single thing that existed. It was not like just, oh, let's build a product and hope it sells. We were really trying everything that we could think of. And in today's world, it is so easy to both build and market a product that I think everyone should be putting a bit more effort into trying to sell the product. Now, on the 5th of October 2023, we came out with the first article, which was truly, I would say, complete. How 0 to 10,000 users, Team-GPT getting ready to scale. Over there, we shared all of the financials. You had total and recurring revenue, user growth, and back then we were just 6 people working on the project still. But we documented the whole process, and this was very useful. Later, we had the what do we do at Team-GPT, 0 to 25,000 users. And ever since, we've been trying to kind of document everything and make it public. On the 6th of November, we attended the OpenAI Dev Day conference, which was the first conference held by OpenAI ever. And how did I get a spot in it? Well, I applied twice, once with my Team-GPT email and once as an online AI instructor from Udemy. And the latter, the Udemy instructor, was accepted. The Team-GPT CEO was rejected. And maybe the lesson here is, if you really want to do it, you have to be a bit inventive. You have to be a bit, unafraid to try stuff, to hack a bit, and maybe it's going to work out. Over there, it was extremely exciting because we learned so many of the things that are coming. We met with a lot of people who are working on this, and I even got these 30 seconds with Sam Altman, where I could take this photo and market the shit out of it. 30th of November, we did a bit more graphs, revenue, user growth, SEO, website traffic, everything was, going up. But, this is the tailwind. So it was a lot of hard work, but it was also the tailwind of the whole industry. So everything in AI was, pushing, and we were kind of riding the wave. We knew this was not gonna continue forever, and the question for us was, what's next? What are the next steps in this business? Can we make a business? What can we do with it? Oh, here are more graphs: LinkedIn personal brand, YouTube, videos on Instagram. We reached 10,000 followers thanks to the guys who are taking currently the camera. Christo from Mad Stories. If you need something, he's your guy. And more SEO, the course. Now, 5th of December, 2023, at 1 a.m., I had my very first pitch to a VC. It was the OpenAI Startup Investment Fund, and there were two people in the call. Ian Hathaway, who was the head of the OpenAI Startup Investment Fund, and the other guy was Boris Power, who is the head of applied research at OpenAI. Boris is one of the top 5 people in OpenAI. Funny story, Boris stays in the office until late in the night, and he stays his desk is next to the window, and whenever he sees someone who is fishy outside of the OpenAI office, he calls the security on them, and then they get rid of them. So these guys, they came on the call 1 a.m. and we had to take the meeting, and this was the very first pitch deck that we created. The deck was created in, let's say, a couple of hours, precisely for this occasion. It was collaborate in ChatGPT in one shared workspace, and then it was showing the product. Then it was showing these graphs that I just showed you, and we were showing this mad growth, which for OpenAI, of course, is like nothing. It was showing this thing as well. And it was showing kind of the direction in which we were thinking that we were be going to. And this was B2B and learning pivot. And we were telling them, everybody has to learn to use ChatGPT, and we're going to be the guys who are going to teach everyone. The end. This was the pitch deck. They never replied to me again. It was absolutely uninteresting for them in every way possible. They were trying to see what we are doing, if we're doing something of value. Apparently, we were not doing anything of value to them, and they were uninterested forever and ever. 16th of December, 10 days later, someone introduces me to Iliya Valchanov, who maybe you know. Do you know who this person is? Yeah, can you? Yeah? Okay. Bulgarian Innovation Hub. Yeah. So Bogi Balkansky, apparently the guy in VC, the Bulgarian guy in VC, partner at Sequoia Capital. He's based in San Francisco, and he's really, really like an extremely respected VC who knows kind of everything you need to know about VC. And I met him, and at this point, I was talking a lot to Zheko Kolev, who is one of our first supporters, and Zheko told me, "You have to raise $15 million," and I'm like, "Man, this is impossible." He's like, "People are doing it. I have seen it happen many times. You should definitely do it." And then I go to Bogi Balkansky, and I enter the room. It was his house, and we sit on the table, and I'm like, "Yeah, hi, Mister. Like, I would like to raise funds for my business, something like 5 to 15 million from Silicon Valley. Is this even possible? Like, we're a Bulgarian company. Like, I don't know. How do you do this?" And Bogi was like, he was very friendly, very nice. He was evaluating, the company as an investment as well in the first probably 6 minutes, and then he knew it's not for him. But what he said about the product was that you guys are onto something. You have found something which could be big, and there will be a business similar to your business, which will be very big. And I said, okay, whatever. Yeah. So I didn't know anything about anything back then. So next meeting was 2 days later, again at his house, and I entered his house and I said, "Listen, Bogi, I've prepared 30 questions. I have to ask you the questions. Like, I don't have a pitch deck. I don't have a pitch. Like, there's no point in doing this. Let me ask you 30 questions. Here you can see my actual notes. So the question, what key metrics or milestones should I focus on? How to target investors? What investors to target? What are realistic amounts of capital to raise in the first round? 5 million are okay. Jacob believes we should do 15 million. And on the right, we have Bogi's answers to all of these questions. So I have taken this information and I have put it in this article. You can find it on my LinkedIn profile. It is how to raise $5 to $15 million from Silicon Valley, learnings from conversations with a Sequoia VC. Literally every single thing. So Bogi told me, let's say, 100 things, 150 things. He was very, he answered every question extremely, truthfully. I didn't believe him for like 10%, 20% of the stuff. Right now, he was right about every single thing that he said. Except for the amount of money we can raise, he said 3 million maximum, because he was lowballing us if he invests. but yeah. So the question that I'm now getting as the CEO of Team-GPT is, okay, how to fundraise? If you have been following us, you would know that probably there will be a lot of content coming out on this, well-structured with a lot of articles and everything. But I want to go through the main steps of the process in the way we did it. And the first one, it starts with read books. Bogi said, don't read books. I disagree. There are a couple of books you should read. Now, on the 27th of December, I posted this post. Maybe some of you remember it. Is we're raising 5 to 15 million round for Team-GPT, and then it was a photo of me with 2 books. Now, I got several comments, and one of them is in the audience tonight. But yeah, so the first one I got was from Vasil, who said, I don't want to sound like a hater, but this is an unrealistic ask. And this really motivated me. Like, I was like, I'm going to show this guy wrong, and I'm going to raise $70 million. Like, and then we had another one, which is from Strahil, who is here in the audience. He was very helpful, one of the helpful founders. He actually gave a reasoning why this is not a good idea. And this is about 11 months ago. So the 3 books that we prepared with were Venture Deals by Brad Feld. Absolutely the Bible on venture deals. If you do not read this book ever, like if you don't read this book, just don't fundraise. You don't deserve to fundraise, right? This is fundraising 101. If you don't read this book, VCs will eat you and they will screw you over in every way possible. Like, because there are basics you should know about the process. And everything is written in the book, Venture Deals. If you read just one book, this is the book. Second book was Fundraising by Ryan Breslow. It's a practical playbook about how to fundraise. And the third one is Angel by Jason Kawakanis. It is the definitive book on angel investing. If you want to be an angel investor, I highly recommend that you read it. If you're a founder, read it to understand how angel investors think and how VCs think in general. Now, books read, I read them on New Year's Eve, not on New Year's Eve, but around New Year, and this was great. Second important bit, meet founders. And yeah, so I want to read about these things because these are my notes from the founder meetings. And they start like this. Um, Zvezdin Besarabov, he told me, worked for us with traction X under limitations Y during time period Z. Run away from controlling VCs, you prefer hands-off investors. This is a time-sensitive opportunity, build FOMO. You don't pretend you don't need the money. And if they are interested, go faster and faster. The process has to be extremely fast. Second good advice, Bobby Paskalev, one of the most successful Bulgarian founders of all time, I would say AI founders. He gave me a lot of advice, also an angel investor, but one of the interesting stuff were add financials for the next 2 years, show them how revenue and costs are growing. This was very helpful in many of the meetings I was getting. Nikola Lazarov, he's founder, CEO of Ayla AI. They just closed the round recently. He is the one who absolutely crushed my pitch. I pitched him and he's like, this is awful. Like you have so many problems with your story, with your, like, it was the most useful. Not the most useful, they were all useful, but this was really good because he crushed the pitch. And he said, pitch forever and ever, do networking, and more people need to talk about you. In the process of fundraising, one of the most important things was that a lot of the VCs, they talked to each other and they were talking about us. And they were talking about this hot deal and like, are you investing? Are you investing? And this is like building the FOMO, right? Yeah, another interesting thing, in investors to invest in you, you need to be 10 out of 10. And I can't agree more. It's difficult to explain, but if you're 9.5 out of 10, you're a pass. Like, they're not going to invest in you. Because usually VCs, they invest in 1 to 2 deals per partners, because you're building a relationship with a person. This person invests in 1 to 2 companies per year. Are you going to be this one person they're going to put their money on? Like, you have to be 10 out of 10. And again, Strahil from the audience, he told me, do not be careful with committing publicly to the parameters of the deal because the deals are fluid. And the second one, everything you say could be used against you. They effed me in all ways possible. I was like, in these meetings, they were just pulling stuff from stuff I was writing, and they were trying to undermine the pitch or the authority. So these were not good VCs at the end of the day, right? But this happened so many times in the process that for every word that I would say, they would use against me. And this was not a great experience, but he was right about it when he said it. And I do not regret building publicly, but I think it made the task a lot harder because these things were set out publicly. So thanks for the help. Costa Kolev, he told me, you need to have a contrarian but accurate outlook of the future. And this was very key, because if everyone is saying the same thing, you're not interesting in any way. But if you're saying almost the same thing, but it's a bit different, it's contrarian and realistic. Ours was going like this. Every company is building these co-pilots, and you have a co-pilot for everything. We don't think this is going to be, we think co-pilots will exist, but we also think that there should be a centralized system for working with these agents, and co-pilots are just, not the answer for, long term. Was this true? I don't know, but it's a contrarian and realistic outlook of the future. And finally, Viktor Botev, he said something which I really appreciated as well. For VCs, all the founders are like racing horses. You're racing, and they're trying to see who's the fastest. And Viktor said, don't be a racing horse. You have to be something else. You have to be something different, which is not in the pattern. You have to break the pattern. And we took all of these, so meetings with founders, the most useful thing, everyone had a different experience, different learnings, and they were providing them. And of course, Theo from Kinetic, this is the worst pitch I've ever heard. And then he gave us 15K. But yeah, Theo was brutal. He didn't even give feedback. He said like, dude, like you have to prepare much better than this. um, but yeah, next, prepare materials, a data room. You need a data room. They usually tell you need it for at Series A. You need it as soon as possible because you want to have more data and more well-structured data. Our data room was, I think, our best asset. And I want to quickly go through it. Can we switch off the lights for a bit, just so we can show it? But yeah, so the data room, it was a Notion page which had a lot of stuff. And welcome to the Team-GPT data room. Listen to it on Spotify. Watch the data room on YouTube. There were a table of contents, and you could go through it with in very big detail about us, with photos, with the podcasts, with the YouTube stuff, with videos about what our product was doing, what enterprises were paying us for the course. There were FAQs. So this was built over time, right? So we put an initial effort, but later we were building it over time. Every question we were getting, it was written there, and it was written in great detail. Like you can see that this is the third question: what is your defensibility? And it's like going on and on and on. Like whatever they ask us, it has to be in the data room. And whenever I was going to meetings, live meetings, they would ask me defensibility, and I'm like, let's not talk about these trivial questions. I have all the answers, and you can write them down later on. Let's talk about like people to each other. This was working so much because it was breaking the pattern. I was not answering the questions. I was, playing it cool. I was not a racing horse in this situation. So there was the pitch deck, a recording of a 1-minute pitch. I recommend a 10-minute pitch as well, 40-minute pitch, IP and trademarks. You can see over here competitor analysis, growth and traction. Over there, customer-facing roadmap. Then we had the numbers, so the user base, the revenue, Bobby Pascalev's thing. Projected revenue, you need a hockey stick, which is showing how you're gonna make a lot of money. You don't have the hockey stick, they don't invest. This is how it works. You have to tick every single box. The spreadsheet, I would literally code this bit, the spreadsheet, for whoever wants to read the spreadsheet. And of course it was bullshit, but like, they wanted it. And it's interesting to, anyways, I will not talk about it now. We had live data from our database, which was shown here, the sales pipeline, some other stuff. It was like a bonanza of information. Now, a very key question here is, so after doing all of this, I just got with myself for a, one day I was just thinking about it, and then I was asking all of these questions, like, what does fundraising fundamentally mean? And to me, the answer to this question is, if you fundraise, you are getting in business with someone for many years. You need to like this person. You need to be ready to commit for 10 years to this business. And it really changes the trajectory of your life. And then, who am I? Like, am I someone who wants to do this? Am I someone who doesn't? Thank you. Who doesn't want to do it? Who do I want to be in 5 years? Who do I want to be in 10 years? What is, do I want to do this? Will I become a slave to the VCs? I don't know. I didn't know. What is the responsibility to my team? I'm making decisions as a CEO which will affect every single person on the team. And it's even a tough conversation to have with them. Like, are you ready for 10 years? I don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows. And yeah, so based on this, we created a story. And the next bit is, you have to get some angel investors. So you have to get the ball rolling. And this guy, Tommy, he told me, take the first $50,000 check, and then take the second $50,000 check, and then keep them rolling, get the ball rolling. Our first 5 checks, In Bulgaria, the scale is different. Took me 25 to 30 meetings to raise 50K. First check, 1K. Theo for 15K. Donny, who is a friend of mine from childhood, 10K. Elena, one of my best friends from high school, 15K. And Emo, one of my best friends, 10K. Yeah, so literally, yeah, all of these people were, yeah, friends of ours. And we got the first 50K through these. Then through this process, on the 22nd of February 2024, I wrote this email to this woman Simone, which I told her at the end of the call, sales, it was a pitch, and I'm like, so are you investing? And she said, I don't know you, I just met you. And then I realized, at this pace, we would never raise $5 million. So I wrote this email to her, which was, this code made me realize I'm far ahead in the fundraising efforts, and from here on I should mainly be meeting VCs, and these angels are not gonna cut it. So we stopped meeting angels. We got approached by a number of Bulgarian angels and so on, but just the time of the day is not enough to be able to pitch. And then you go to the VCs. And by the way, through all of this, you have to keep growing, because the moment the line flattens and everybody's like, huh, so you're not growing anymore. And this is the worst situation to be in. So I'm going back to the conversation with Bogi, and I'm like, we're making $200,000 ARR. And he just looked at me and he said, peanuts. Like, how are you gonna make 200 million in ARR? And this was a very key mindset shift. Like fundraising is not about building a small business. It's about building the biggest business possible, and you need to tell a compelling story. You have to get the VC money. You have to convince them that you're gonna be making $200 million in ARR. So what is kind of the story we were using? And again, worked for us, wouldn't work for anyone else. So I was doing this alone. So many of the things which were useful was like, you have to show that you have a clear decision-making power. You have to show clear hierarchy. And I was going with the story like, I teach 1.3 million people worldwide how to use AI. I have an awesome team which trusts me. We work together for 6+ years. We have amazing traction. Too busy building a unicorn. Are we going or not? And if they say, if it takes them a couple of days to reply, probably they're not the right ones. And then next one and next one and next one. Now, you have to improve the story every day. Every day the story is getting better. The first day, the story was awful. The next day, it was a bit better. The next day, it was a bit better. And one day, Yavor was in a pitch with me, and he said, man, you've learned all the answers. It's like you have learned them by heart, and you know the answers to the exam. And I'm like, this is it. They're asking the same stuff, and I have to tell the most compelling story. And yeah, for the action itself, and this is kind of the educational bit, we'll publish an article with this, but here is the process. So first you need to create an investor list. This investor list has to be as long as possible. Sorry, can we turn off the lights for a bit? Again, I think some slides are coming, but you create an investor list. My list was 100+ investors, and then the first line was who is gonna introduce me to them. Like these are the funds, I've never heard of them, and I'm looking for people I know that are gonna introduce me to someone. Second, get warm intros. You need a blurb, and they told me, send me your blurb. And I'm like, oh, what's a blurb? The blurb is basically, you write something like this, and this is something I sent to Bobby Pascalev actually, and I said, here is a blurb suitable. Hi, Bobby, thank you so much for the call. Here is a blurb suitable for VCs. He takes the blurb, copies the blurb, and then he sends it to other people. So you have to make it as easy as possible for others to be sending the information across. Now, the pitch deck itself is used just to get the first meeting. And this is kind of a very crucial thing to understand. Pitch deck is not for pitching. Pitch deck is for getting the first meeting. And Here, I want to show you the pitch deck at the date of the term sheet and how it looked like. I wouldn't have the time to go through it, but I will try to go to it. Okay, start. I'm going at the actual speed of which VCs go through pitch decks. This is literally the speed at which they go through the pitch decks. They spend no more than 1 minute, 3 seconds per slide. And how do I know this? I have the data. This is literally how they go through the slides. So your pitch deck is never read. Nobody is reading the pitch deck. They read the blurb, they open the pitch deck. This guy in particular spent 20 seconds on the third slide. Probably they called him on the phone or something. Usually this is the line. And when you see this, and when you see this more than 400 times, you understand that this is what they do with the pitch decks. So when you know this kind of information, and here is some more data, geographic data, where do they open the stuff? Here is 2 seconds, 28 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute, 37 seconds, 5 minutes, 32 seconds. This is from an iPhone. This is probably myself. But 14 seconds, 13 seconds, 10 seconds. And I even knew who was opening them, but these are the times. And when you know this, the question becomes, okay, so pitch deck is to get the first meeting, and then you get into the first meeting, and what is your goal? Not to show the pitch deck. Never show it. You're here to talk. You're there to show the product, which is the single most important thing is to show the product and to explain why this product is useful, and to get a second meeting. So the pitch deck is to get the first meeting. The first meeting is to get the second meeting. If they think you're superficial or something like this, why do you do this? They get distracted by the pitch deck. If you start showing it, they start reading the slides, and they get really distracted super quickly, and they stop listening to you, and you're boring to them because they're distracted. But first meeting is to get the second meeting, and this is from the fundraising book. These are my notes from the book, and I want to read to you what I wrote to them. Behavior. So in the first meeting, to show that you're an incredible founder, you have to show that you're confident but kind. You're respectful but aggressive. You're relentless but you're positive. You're not wasting time. You're mature and you're professional. And you have to show all of these things in the same meeting in order for them to be interested in what you're telling them. What do they need to get out of it? At the end of the meeting, they need to know that you can attract talent. This is crucial. You have to show them people are willing to follow you in whatever you're doing. That you're willing to change your mind. So this was extremely hard for me to show, because I have 30 minutes and they're pushing me on different subjects. I know all the answers, right, because I've done it 100 times. And then I have to show them that they're right about some stuff I'm wrong about, although I know I'm right because I've done it 100 times. And you have to show you're willing to change your mind, and most importantly, you have to show that you're a winner. You have to be the best person they've met in the last 6 months. And they need to come out of the meeting and be like, wow, this was the best person I've met. The meetings themselves make them bi-directional. You're also evaluating. I was always aggressive with the VCs. I was always, Costa Kolev told me this again, you need a bit of dopamine, so they need to be happy about seeing you, but you also need some cortisol, so they need to be stressed. If you're not a bit intense, you're not a winner, you have to show that you're tough. And the aftermath, why did they not raise? So all of this you have to show in 30 minutes so that you get to the second meeting with a more important person than the guy you just impressed. Now, at the end of the meeting, you didn't show them a pitch deck or anything, follow up with the best materials they have ever seen. And this is how I followed up usually. I'm super excited about the potential opportunity to work together. Here are the fundraising materials. Pitch deck, data room. The moment they click the data room, I know if they had interest, I've closed the deal because every single answer was there. There was not a single answer which was not there. I was working for months to make this as full as possible. And you have to follow up immediately. There is no excuse, guys. Like if you have a sales meeting, you're fundraising a sales, follow up at the end of the meeting immediately. Like you have no other job than copy pasting this text. So literally, meeting is over, copy paste and send. The data room, yeah. 7, receive the term sheet or get a no as soon as possible. It's more important to get to a no than not. People think that silence could be good. Silence is really bad in every deal. If there is mutual interest, things are gonna move quickly. So you wanna get a no or you wanna get a term sheet. Now, finding your partner is a very hard job. It's gonna take you 1 to 6 months on average. If it takes you more than 6 months, probably it's never gonna happen. The median is about 3 months. 1 month is for companies from YC and so on who are in the weeds of everything. And your business cannot handle 6 months without you. So this is kind of, it's a conundrum. You have 6 months, but you don't have 6 months. Track meticulously what's going on. So I had this CRM with all the investors. I had a bunch of fields, but the only fields you actually need are when was the last interaction date, some kind of filter, so you can filter through this super long list. What is the firm? Who is the target investor? What is the ticket size? If you want to raise $5 million, you need to sell at least 20% of the company. Like companies that can give you, let's say, 200K, and maybe Sofia Angel Ventures. This is a Bulgarian fund, 250K to 500K euro. These guys cannot get the fund. They cannot get the round because we're trying to raise 5 million. So you do the math, and you're like, I need to talk to not even this guy, Credo from this list, Credo. These guys are on the limit. Golden section could work well, but the guy was half asleep, so no. Atomico, it was too big for us. Dawn Capital, round is too small for them. It's very hard to find the right fit. And if you don't track these things, if you don't understand them well, it's tough. So how did the fundraise go? 16th of December, we met Bogi. 22nd of February, we started the road show. 11th of March, we landed in San Francisco for the big pitching spree. On the 22nd of May, this was the day of the big term sheet in New York City. When you have a fundraising story about this, here is the stuff that are going below this. This is 9 months of my life, so it's many things happen in it. First, Christmas party. Our team was less than 10 people in our old office where everything started. Big mouth on LinkedIn, raising 5 to 15 million. This was 27th of December. 5 days later, my dog passed away, which was like really, really one of the saddest points in my life for many, many years. And then you get back together. I went to my last party in many months, and then came here to say bye to the community and leave for San Francisco. Spoke at the event, recorded a podcast with Christo, and then started pitching in London. Flew to San Francisco with my wonderful wife and co-founder, Masha. Spent the first days there, you see, I'm happy, I'm eating my avocado toast in Blue Bottle, and then I'm in San Francisco, and it's cool. And then Masha goes home, and she's like, I cannot take this anymore. Like, this is boring. This is me on FaceTime by Masha. And you start seeing how like my health starts deteriorating in this point. So the beard becomes bigger. Here I'm in like meeting Excel, which I hope they'll lead the Series A if they're here. So it's becoming a bit worse, but the main thing is that this is an extremely physically intensive activity. Every day, all day, you're pitching, you're telling the same stupid story because you're bored as hell from your own story. You're saying the same things to different people, and they're always like, but how are you gonna do this? And you've answered it 50 times, and you have to be respectful and reply with enthusiasm. And do this 15 times per day. I was eating a lot, and I was losing weight all the time. This is what fundraising is. What my mom thinks I'm doing on the plane, what my friends think. My friends think I'm begging for money. My donors are thinking that I'm stealing. My board is thinking that I'm probably doing nothing, or this, I don't know. Yeah, my executive director thinks I'm pulling the rabbit out of the hat. What I'm really doing is I'm sending emails. I'm sending at least 30 emails per day, every day, for a lot of times, some days 50 emails. So after you pitch 15 times for 30 minutes to 1 hour each, you have to follow up. And if you followed up, if you're good enough, you get more questions. This is your this is your prize. And then you start getting, we've made a difficult decision to not pursue. We're going to have to sit this round out. Unfortunately, I don't think it's the perfect fit. Fortunately, came to the conclusion, This one, ridiculous. But it didn't work out. Yeah. Okay, whatever. I wasted energy on you. And I was thinking in energy, right? So I'm giving these people my energy, and they're like stealing it as vampires, and they don't even have the decency to say something. Got rejected 85 times overall. And you can see, here, like the smile is becoming a bit more fake. I don't even know what this is, but like, this is kind of the lowest point at which I can no longer stay with my eyes open. Here, like I can't even look. And I had this day where I basically collapsed in my hotel room, and then I had this vertigo for 2 months. Afterwards, I felt like puking for 3 days, and you still go and you pitch for your life. And this was going for so long. And this is what you don't see. And every founder that has ever raised money, they know that this is the process, and it's a shitty process, but you have to go through it. And yeah, at the end, in the Venture Deals book, it says when you find the right investors, you're both going to be extremely excited to work together. We found ours on 22nd of May. I've written this very long story. Maybe some of you have read it. It is the PR of the fund doesn't allow me to publish it, so it's good stuff with a lot of spicy stuff. But it is my journal as I was going on this fundraising journey, like what was happening and when. And I was journaling as it was happening. Then, there was, conferences and going back with the family. And this is kind of the good times where you get together with the team and you're happy that all of it is over. August in 2024 was the happiest month I remember in my whole life. And it's because it followed this tough period. This is our team before. This is our team after funding. We've upgraded to working share synergy tower. Yeah. What's next? We'll be publishing this stuff more and more. We're building in public, but there will be more stuff coming out. All of these things. This was the first time I'm sharing this, but I hope that I'll be able to write something on the topic. We're already hosting these hackathons. Whoever was at the hackathon knows that Mike Montano, the ex-head of engineering at Twitter, also partnered through Ventures and on our board of directors. He came to the hackathon. We'll be trying to make more events, nurture the community more. We've been trying even when we were poor before the funding. Now we'll pour more money into it and try to make more events. We'll be trying to build a bridge between San Francisco and Sofia. Bulgarian Innovation Hub is already doing this, but it's I think when it's coming from founders, it's a bit different. We'll be sending you people, hopefully, and we'll be motivating them to go. Summing up, and sorry for taking a bit more time, um, raising in the US versus Europe is completely different. $1 million in Europe is a seed round. $1 million in the US is an angel round. And these are very different. I would say they're looking for different stuff. So one guy called it, you need, it's kind of a schizophrenia between Europe and US. Just imagine the costs. You're talking about the costs, and you're like, for one of the guys, you're talking about costs in Bulgaria. For one of the others, we're moving to San Francisco totally, and like it's going to be expensive. So costs are different, revenues are different, everything is different. Second, VCs are looking for 100x businesses. Like if your business cannot grow 100 times, 100x, like if you cannot return their money 100 times, it's not interesting. AI right now is a very clear way, not clear, but it has the potential to return more than any other industry. And this means that it's a very clear ROI comparative for them, for the VCs. And I think they will be investing a lot in AI in the next couple of years. So if you're doing something which is not AI, it will be extremely hard for you to raise funds. But I would highly recommend that you do AI because it is the real stuff. San Francisco is the center of the universe. This is a chapter of the book Angel by Jason Calacanis, and it's basically this is the whole chapter. San Francisco is the center of the universe, full stop. And this is true for tech. It is the center of the universe for tech. Everything is going on there. All the tech is happening there. All the big companies are there. All the funding is there. Every major company that in tech that exited and made many people millionaires, they're all based in San Francisco, and they're all reinvesting their own money in San Francisco, which is just making it more and more the center of the universe for tech. As Yavor said, definitely try to go there if you want to build a tech product. Finally, founder, market, product. This is the proper way to think about fundraising. You know, products change a lot, markets change, but like founders, you know, usually not. And for us, it is, you know, we had to convince them we're the right founders. We are in the hottest market, AI, and we're building a product which could be used by a gazillion people. So this was really helpful for our fundraise. Finally, why are we so hyped about this? And I want to finish, I'm finishing now. AI is no longer a part of science fiction. It is here right now. It has been happening for about 10 years. And this is one of the biggest shifts in humanity. It is the everything that was written in the books, it is already happening. All of these autonomous agents, whether they will happen in 2 years or in 10 years or in 20 years, they will happen. And so many tasks are already autonomously done by AI. I would highly recommend that you look into it and try to inform yourself a little bit more. Every generation has an opportunity. The internet was one of the previous opportunities. For our generation, the opportunity is AI. And while many other things are important and many other problems are important in the world, like energy, biotech, robots, whatever, this is here and this is happening now. So I would really urge you to be involved in AI in some way. My investors want me to recruit people, so our team is growing. Yeah, if you're interested, you know where to find us. And we, 1 year ago, we said we will be doing these events for at least 1 year. If you guys are coming, we'll continue doing them. Thank you, Tishu, for always being there to every event. And you know, there's the Luma AI Engineer Foundation Europe, and we're doing them every week. Thank you, Yavor, for being so dedicated to it, and Maggie for now helping so much. Guys, this was from me. Thank you so much for the attention.